Sampurita pamita paramita balena Vindvansiyo kila kilesa samohajalam teneva landa araham arahoti namam vandami buddha mamalam hadaye tapetva samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devata sandhammam munirajassa sonanto sagga mokkadam Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Tesanno bante bhagava dhamman desetu Ye amha kannasso dhamma dittha dhamma hitaya dittha dhamma sukhaya samparaya hitaya samparaya sukhayati Venerable members of the Mahasangha, friends in the Dhamma, you all gathered here for a special meritorious act, listening to Dhamma. Having a chance to listen to Dhamma is a very rare opportunity that we receive as a result of our previous good karma, meritorious activities, wholesome deeds. Therefore, Buddhism says this moment is like a very rare moment. It says in Buddhism, Kana Sampatti, Shana Sampatti. It means very rare, auspicious moment. The reason is that this is a place where we can liberate from defilements, from suffering. Therefore, it says in Buddhism, Vimuttayatana. On the occasion of listening to Dhamma is a place where we liberate from suffering. For that, we should completely pay our attention to listening to Dhamma. And also, while we are listening to Dhamma, we should practice it. Although there are a lot of doctrines that Buddha has explained in his teachings, finally, we have to practice only two qualities. One of them is practicing loving kindness, the other one is practicing mindfulness. Therefore, in this sermon, if you can keep your mind in loving kindness, meditation and mindfulness, it means you completely get the results throughout this entire activity. When you see something, when you see a person, when you hear a sound of a person, you can practice loving kindness meditation. May that person be well, happy and peaceful. And also, at the same time, if you can be aware of your mind, What happens to my mind at the moment? When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we taste something, what happens to my mind at the moment? If my mind is ignorant or not ignorant, if my mind is angry or not angry, if my mind is lustful or not lustful. Especially we can contemplate on thus whether my mind is ignorant or not. How do we know it? When we think something, if a form comes to our mind as it is at this moment, it means we are in ignorance. If you can understand, when we recognize, when we understand something about forms, sounds, smell, etc., if you can immediately come to the understanding that now I understand this form or sound through my mind consciousness, and also the very first experience, the forms have already ceased. That is the place where we can practice wisdom, panya, or insight meditation. At that moment, you have released from outside material world. It means outside material world and persons are unable to control you. You have made a refuge within you. This is the place where we can practice wisdom or insight meditation in the highest level. Friends, in the Dhamma, today we have selected a very special topic named Vyaggapajja Sutta, the discourse of Vyaggapajja, which comes in Anguttara Nikaya in Attaka Nipada. This sutta is named as Gihi Vinaya, the discipline of lay people. And also, this discourse explains how do we succeed in this life and hereafter. One day, when Buddha was living in the state of Polya at the village of Kakkarpatta, a householder named Vyaggapajja came to Buddha. He approached the Buddha and he respected the Supreme Buddha, and sitting near the Buddha, he asked some questions from Buddha. He says that Bhante, we are lay people. We are lay people. We are expanding a lay life. We are enjoying sensuality. We spend a sexual life. And also we wear very valuable clothes, fabric clothes, sandalwood and khasi clothes we wear. And also we apply scents, creams and other things. And also we wear jewels, gems and silvers. Like we people, please Bhante explain some doctrines that explain that useful for our this life and hereafter, for the well-being and happiness. He especially asked very special thing that Bhante explains some Dhamma, some conditions, some doctrines which are useful for us for our happiness and well-being. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. From our birth to death, we do everything in the name of happiness. But unfortunately, we always think that happiness comes in the future. Practicing Dhamma and doing our day-to-day activities are different. There is a very special difference in Buddhism. Practicing Dhamma. What is that? When we do our day-to-day activities, we always think that we are happy after we finish something. After we have done something, we will be happy. We always think that happiness will come in the future. But very special thing in Buddhism or Dhamma. What is the difference? We enjoy our life at the moment. While we are practicing Dhamma, we are enjoying, we are happy. That is the very special thing. In this situation, we can understand the qualities of the Dhamma. Sanditiko, akaliko. There are some qualities of the Dhamma. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Visible results, immediately effective. When we practice the doctrines that Buddha has explained, at that moment we are happy. Since we overcome negative thoughts from our mind. All the doctrines that the Blessed One explained for 45 years can be summarized into one sentence, which is Sajitta Pariyodapanam, purifying one's mind. We do all activities in the name of purification of our mind. Why do we need to purify our mind? If our mind is polluted with negative thoughts, if our mind is wicked, if we do something physically, verbally or mentally with a wicked mind, the results are suffering. Suffering follows us. That is why we overcome negative thoughts from our mind. On the other side, Buddha says, if a person does something with a pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, fruitful results come to him. They receive fruitful results. Therefore, we have to keep our mind pure and calm maximally. Buddhism always explains the way how we keep our mind pure and calm. The more we purify our mind, the more we are happier. In this situation, if we can purify our mind, we can see the beauty of our life. Even though we are very educated, although we are very rich, even though our physical body is very beautiful, we have good complexion. Actually, if our mind is polluted with anger, lust, jealousy, conceit, everything that we earn is useless. That is why we should purify our mind. That is why we should give the priority to purify our mind. Here, Divajana Kolia, Vyaggapajja, a Korean, asked the Buddha, Bhante, please explain the doctrines, the Dhammas that help us to succeed this life for our happiness and well-being. First of all, Buddha explains the dharmas, the conditions, the things that help us to succeed in this immediate life. We usually think that Buddha has explained Dhamma for our next life. Actually, we should focus on our next life too, but firstly, we should focus on this immediate life. If we can succeed this immediate life, we are unable to succeed next life. Therefore, in this present life, we should succeed. For that, Buddha has explained some qualities. Here, Buddha says, there are 4 qualities that we have to practice to succeed this life for our happiness and well-being. Utthana sampada, arata sampada, kalyana mittata, samajivita. Utthana sampada means the accomplishment of determined effort, working hard. That is the very first one. The second one is araka sampada, the accomplishment of watchfulness, protection of our wealth. The third one, kalyana mittata, good association. The fourth one is that samajivita, the accomplishment of balanced livelihood. These are the conditions that help us to succeed in this immediate life. The very first one is Utthana Sampada. In our young age, we should study very well. That is very important. Sippan Sikkhaventi, as parents, you should give education for your children. That is very important to succeed in our life. According to our education, we can have a good job. When we have our jobs, we should work hard. Dhamma says, Baha bala palkitehi, seda vakitehi, dhammikehi dhammaladehi. When we earn money, we should work hard. We should earn money righteously and honestly. That honest money is very valuable. If we earn money righteously and honestly, we have no regrets. That is very important. Here Buddha explains the way how we earn money righteously and honestly. It belongs to one of the parts of the Noble Eightfold Path, Samma Ajiva. If we have right understanding, Samma Ditti, we earn money righteously, honestly, and hard. That comes to Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. This is the very first one that helps us to succeed this immediate life. If we are not wealthy, actually our life is not successful. Therefore, we should work hard and earn money righteously. That is very important. But there is a limit. Dhammikehi dhammaladehi. The limit is dhammika. According to the 5 precepts, we should earn money. That is very important. The second one, arakta sampada, watchfulness. Not only we should earn money, but we should protect it. Watchfulness is very important. We should protect our money from robbers, from thieves, from fire, from water. There are many disasters in this world, and also sometimes we should protect our wealth from government too. That is very important. Buddha has explained it. In this situation, we should protect our money that we earn hard and righteously. The second one. The third one, good association. Even though we earned a lot of money and we have protected a lot of wealth, if we have evil friendship, bad friends, everything may go to destroy. Therefore, we should associate good friends. The Buddha says, Andancha ekachakkuncha arha parivajji dvijakkum panaseveta settam purisa puggala. When we associate a person, he should have both eyes. What are the both eyes? He who sees this life and hereafter, he has both eyes. He who has only one understanding about in this immediate life, he has only one eye. He who doesn't know the success of this life and hereafter, he is like a person who is blind. But the advice is us to not to associate with a person who is blind or who has only one eye. We always associate with the people who have both eyes. That is very important. If a person has 2 eyes, it means he spent a very good life, virtuous life, generous life, and wise life. Generosity, virtue, wisdom, and truth, or Dhamma. These are the measurement that a good friend has. If we associate with a person, he should be trust in the Dhamma. He should be trust in the Dhamma or truth. He should spend a virtuous life. He should be generous and he should be wise. association is a main thing that decides our life. Especially when we live in this world, firstly we meet our parents. They are the very first friends. Mata Mita Sake Gari. Our mom or dad is the friends who are at home. Then we meet other friends, teachers. They are our friends. And also after you get married, Bharya Paramasaka. At home, wife or husband is the best friend. And also when we go to the society, we meet a lot of friends. We should be wise to associate with friends. If not, everything that we earned may go to destroy. Therefore, we should be very careful with whom that we associate. The fifth one is Samajivikata, balanced livelihood. We should spend our money according to our income. Our income and expenditure should be balanced. That is very important. When we spend money, we should again and again think our income. According to our income, we can spend it. And also, when we spend our money, first of all, we should be satisfied. Attana sukheti peneti. When you earn money, if you have wealth, first of all, you should be satisfied with your wealth. Then, Buddha says, Puttadharana sukheti peneti. You should make your wives, husbands, or especially children satisfied. And also, Mata Pituna Sukheti Peneti. We should make our parents satisfied, happy. That is very important. This is the way how we spend our money that we earn hard and righteously. These four things are very important. But they are Uttana Sampada, the accomplishment of determined effort, Araka Sampada, protection or watchfulness, Kalyanamittaka, good association, and Samajivikata, balanced livelihood. Having these four things, we can spend a successful life for our happiness and well-being. Not only that, we should overcome four things. That is very important. There are four extremes that are indulgence in sex, indulgence in gambling, indulgence in drinks, and bad association. We should overcome these four things. If our life has these four things, actually everything that we earn is useless. They go to worse. They go to destroy. Therefore, we should be very careful in these four areas, avoiding indulgence in sex, indulgence in gambling, indulgence in alcohol, and evil association, bad association. Then after that, Vyaggapajja asked the Buddha, Bhante, please explain some Dhamma, some conditions that helps us to succeed our next life. Dear devotees, look at here. This person has already believed next life. The Blessed One says very clearly, why do we need a spiritual teacher and his message? There are three conditions, there are three reasons in this world why we need a spiritual teacher and his noble message. According to Thero Dhamma Sutta, the Buddha says very clearly, because of three reasons, a spiritual teacher shines and his message shines in this world. What they are? Very first one is aging or decay. Because of we are going to old age. we should practice a spiritual life. We should practice Dhamma. When we are going to old age, what happens to us? We have a lot of sicknesses. Most of our relatives and friends have left. We may be alone. If we haven't practiced the Dhamma, it is a big suffering in our life. In this society, when people go into old age, the main problem is that loneliness. Loneliness is the main problem in this Western society. Why is that? They mostly depend on outside things, persons and relatives. When they live, they are suffering. In this situation, Buddha has explained to make a refuge within us. Even though we have a lot of friends and relatives, we know very well, one day we have to leave them. If you have understood this reality, we make a refuge within us, practicing Dhamma. This is one of the reasons that we need a spiritual teacher and his message. Next, Buddha says, why we need a spiritual teacher? The second reason is that death. Because of death, we should find a spiritual teacher and we should practice his noble message. That is also very important. If we don't die, we don't need to practice Dhamma. The third reason is that why we need to practice Dhamma is birth, rebirth. If we are not be reborn, we don't need to practice spiritual life. After we die, everything finishes. But we have a next life. Even though we don't believe it in our young age, gradually when we are going to old age, we believe it. And also, when a relative, a close relative is dead, immediately we do some activities, religious activities. Doing marriage, we transfer marriage to them. Why? We believe that there is a next birth. In this situation, we have to spend a spiritual life. That is very important. Because of these three reasons, we should find a spiritual teacher and his noble message, and also we should practice it maximally. Here, Vyaggapajja asks the Buddha, Bhante, explain some conditions that help us to succeed next life for our happiness and well-being. There Buddha explains 4 conditions, 4 things that help us to succeed our next life. They are Saddha Sampada, Sila Sampada, Tyaga Sampada, and Panya Sampada. The accomplishment of Saddha, or confidence or faith. Sila Sampada, the accomplishment of virtue or morality. And Tyaga Sampada, the accomplishment of generosity. And Panya Sampada, the accomplishment of wisdom. These are the 4 qualities, 4 conditions for dharmas that we should practice for our samsaric journey in order to succeed our next life for our happiness and well-being. The very first one is Saddha or confidence. What is the Saddha here? Saddha means confidence in what the Buddha understood, what the Buddha realized. Saddhati Tathagatassa Bodhi. What Buddha realized under the Bodhi tree. Under the Bodhi tree, when Buddha attained enlightenment, Buddha gained wisdom. In his first sermon, the Exalted One explains very clearly some synonyms, Chakkumudapadi, Jnana Udapadi, Panya Udapadi, Vidya Udapadi, Alo Udapadi. I arose, understanding arose, wisdom arose, light arose, science arose. When he attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, he realized the truth, what happens to the world and persons. What is the nature of our life? There, Buddha realized the truth, the Four Noble Truths. The first thing that Buddha realized is that the Kammasakata Jnana. Kammasakata Jnana is very famous in this time, but Buddha had a very special understanding about the karmic law. According to Vyaggapajja Sutta, before Buddha appeared in this world, some people had realized the nature of karma, but they had some mistakes. Buddha says, I have no mistakes about the karmic law since I have the Mahakamma Vibhange Jnana. I have a special knowledge about the karmic law that other persons didn't have. What especially Buddha realized, when mind is polluted, the results are negative. When mind is pure and calm, the results are fruitful. This is the very first understanding Buddha realized. The second one, that Buddha understood the Four Noble Truths. How suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Buddha says very clearly, in the past and the present, I explain only two things to the world. What they are, suffering and the cessation of suffering. What is the suffering? Suffering means when we contact something at the moment, five aggregates arise at the moment. Rupa, form, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana, consciousness. These five things arise together at the moment as the karmic level experience, but it is very instant. The very first experience is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. That is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. That is neutral. But we can't stay in this vipaka level, the result level. It is instant. It immediately arises and ceases. We usually understand it after it has ceased as the new karma. New karma level, we create new karma with our developments, especially with our ignorance. The very first experience is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, that is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. That is just the karma. That very first experience, consciousness is said as, Buddha says, Pakati Parisuddhamidam Vijnanam, or Pavassaramidam Bhikkhave Chittam. The very first experience of consciousness is very pure. That has no defilements, no greed, no anger, or no delusion. But very important thing, we can't stay in this pure position, very pure state. It is very instant. We usually recognize something after it has ceased in the Navakarma level, new karmic stage. That is the cause of suffering. That consists with ignorance. Then we have come to the samsaric circle, Vyaggapajja Sankhara, Sankhara-pajja Vijnana shown. With the arising of ignorance, mental formations arise. So on, we go to the suffering, Jati-pajja, Jana-marana, so parideva. With the arising of birth, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, all other sufferings arise because of ignorance. But if we are wise and mindful, if we can keep our attention in the present moment with mindfulness, as soon as we see something, if we can reflect on it as impermanent, we understand when we look at something, when we recognize some forms, sounds, or smells, I recognize everything through my mind consciousness. We can understand any forms, we can enjoy with it, but we don't depend on it. We know very well forms have all disease. This is the nature of the cessation of suffering. Avidyayatveva asesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho. With the complete cessation of ignorance, mental formations cease. So on. Jati nirodha, jara marana, soko parideva, dukkha domana, supayasa niruddhanti. With the complete cessation of birth, sorrow, lamentation, grief, everything cease. This is the thing that the Blessed One realized when he attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. This is the place where we should be confident in. This is the Saddha. Generally, Saddha means in our day-to-day life, our Saddha means what we trust in for our happiness. You can understand at this moment what you trust in for your happiness. If you do some day-to-day activities giving the priority to your happiness, it means you trust it in. But here, we trust in this understanding as devoted persons. We keep our attention, we keep our priority to the maximum level in this understanding, the Buddha's understanding. We are confident in what the Buddha realized. Saddhati Tathagatasya Bodhi. This is the real meaning of Saddha. With this understanding, we respect the Buddha, we respect the Dhamma, we follow the Mahasangha. Then our life has three gems, three lights that never blink, but they are Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. We do everything giving the priority to these three things that we know very well. Our happiness completely depends on following these three things. Even though we have a lot of friends, relatives and things, one day we have to leave them. Finally, we should find a refuge, salvation in our life. We give the highest level in this situation with the Dhamma. That is the place where we are confident in. That means Saddha. The second one is Sila or virtue, morality. Especially practicing 5 precepts. Abstain from taking life, abstain from stealing, abstain from sexual misconduct, abstaining from foul speech, and abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs. If we can follow, if we can practice these 5 qualities, actually, we have a confidence in our life. We have no fear, no doubt, no regret. We can face any society, any problem, any person without fear, without suffering, without doubt. This is the place where we practice Dhamma. This is the place where we can gain protection. Buddhism says, Dhammo haverakati dhammachari. He who practices Dhamma is protected by the Dhamma. When we practice 5 precepts, that practice protects us. That is the real refuge. That protection is not just a physical protection, that is a mental protection. Because of this practice, we never fall into hell. That is very important. The third quality that we should practice for the well-being of our next life, the Chaga Sampada, the accomplishment of charity or generosity. Here Buddha has given some words, Mutta Chago and Paitapani, Dan Samvibhagarato, delighting in the contribution of alms, open-handed. Our hands are always ready to offer something to others. We have washed our hands to offer something to others. That is the nature of generosity. Dear devotees, generosity is the very first meritorious act in Buddhism among the three meritorious deeds, Dana, Sila and Bhavana. The purpose of practicing generosity is to overcome the big attachment to our families and things. Most of people, after they die, they go to the lower realms. What is the reason? The reason is the big attachment. Therefore, Buddha has explained very kindly this quality that we have practiced to overcome falling into a hell. We should understand any time we have to leave everything dear and near. If you have practiced this intention, it means we are ready to give up everything anytime. It doesn't mean that we should offer everything to the temple. Don't misunderstand. At least you should make a mind to give up everything, at least to your children or to your close relatives. That's enough. It means you are ready to go to the upper level. If not, you have to go to the lower realms. That is a big mistake in our life. Having this very wonderful message and very valuable Buddha Sasana, if you go to a lower realm, actually this is very unfortunate. Therefore, we should make a generous heart. Always, we should be ready to give up everything that we have. And also, the very important thing, according to some discourses such as Vyaggapajja Sutta, practicing generosity correctly and honestly, we receive a special benefit. What's that? According to the Sutta, the discourse of Vyaggapajja Buddha says, if a person can practice generosity continuously with a pure mind, honestly, he will receive a good friendship, noble association. Through the noble association, he has a chance to listen to Dhamma. Because of your generosity, you have this chance to listen to what the Blessed One explained. If you are greedy, you can never come to this level. Your mind is ready to listen to what the Buddha taught because of your generous heart. You can be happy. You are so generous. That is why you receive this message. If a person is so greedy, actually he can never receive the Dhamma. Practicing generosity opens our spiritual life. And also, when we practice generosity, we should understand when I practice generosity, whether my craving, conceit, self-view increase or decrease. මගේ තෘෂ්ණා දෘෂ්ටිමාන වැඩි වෙනවද අඩු වෙනවද? දානයක් දෙනකොට බලන්න මේ දානය දීලා ඉවරුනහම මගේ ලෝභකම වැඩි වෙනවද? මාන්නය වැඩි වෙනවද? මගේ සක්කාය දිට්ඨිය වැඩි වෙනවද කියලා බලන්න. This is very important. Sometimes we don't get the real results of practicing generosity because of these negative thoughts in our mind. Attachment, self-view and conceit. Reducing these negative thoughts from our mind, we should practice generosity, then we will receive the highest benefits of this practice. And also especially, we have received the highest valuable result, which is the good association, who explains the Buddha's real message. How do we see that whether we have received the good association? Understanding of your Dharma is the place where we can see it. For example, if a person says that you live only 24 hours, you live only one day, within this day, what do you practice? This practice says what you heard. What you heard says whom you have associated with. This is the place where we can see our association. Within one day, what you practice maximally for your inner peace. This is the place where we can see the nature of our association. That association says that the generosity, what we practice, our generosity. If our generosity is not in the highest level, it means we need the lower level friends. It means we listen to their words. Then that is the thing that we have to practice our last day. If we want to practice the highest qualities in our life, we have to listen to highest message. If we want to practice the highest level message, we have to associate with the highest level wise, generous and virtuous persons. If we want to meet those persons, we should have open hands. That is very important. In this situation, our generosity explains our association. Our association decides our practice. Our practice decides purification of our mind. Our purification of mind decides our spiritual happiness. For that, we have to practice generosity in the highest level. It doesn't mean that you should give a lot of things to others. Don't misunderstand. No matter whatever thing that you offer, it doesn't matter, but even though you offer only few things, you should offer it honestly, kindly, respectfully with your hands. This is the way how we practice generosity in the correct way. One day a person asked the Buddha, Bhante, I am so poor. I offer only rice and miriswanda, sonusal saha, kadi. That is the maximum level food that a person can offer because he was so poor. Buddha says, no matter whatever you offer, you should practice it very kindly, honestly with your hands. Then you can get the highest result. As the result of this practice, you will receive the highest message. Not only you listening to the highest message, but you pay your attention to the message. And also you have a chance to practice this message. That is very important. Sometimes even though we have learned, we have listened to a lot of things in our life, we have no enough environment, situation to practice it. It means we hadn't practiced generosity correctly. If we can practice it properly, correctly and honestly, we have these situations and we have these facilities. That is very important. Saddha Sampada, Sila Sampada, Chaga Sampada, and finally Panya Sampada. Living wisely. How do we live wisely? First of all, we explain the Buddha's understanding in the Saddha. Saddha de Tathagata Sabodhi. Buddha explains the importance of practicing wisdom. Wisdom is highly appreciated in Buddhism. Natti Panya Sama Abha. There is no any other light like wisdom. Apadana Sobini Panya. Panya or wisdom purifies our character. And also Buddha says, Panya Narana Ratana. Wisdom is the gem of men. And also Panya Parisuddhati. Wisdom purifies our mind. What is the Panya that the Buddha explained? When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we taste something, when we touch something, what happens to our mind? In the first level, we receive a neutral experience, but when we recognize it, because of ignorance, our mind is fixed in the outside material world or persons. This is the nature of ignorance. If we have this ignorance, immediately we receive another thing. It means the process of becoming. When we remember something, when we think something, we think there are persons around me, there are things around me, which I have already heard and seen. According to conventional truth, it is true, but the very important thing, when we understand something, the material world has completely ceased. We recognize everything through our mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. If we can keep our full attention in this reality with mindfulness, this is the place where we can liberate from suffering. For that, in one side, we should have clear vision as Sutame Jnana, Sutame Panya, the wisdom of hearing. Then we should have Chintame Panya, the wisdom of contemplating on or thinking. And also Bhavaname Panya, the wisdom of meditation. These three things are very important. In one side, we should have understanding through listening to this message, and also we have to think again and again it. Not only when we are at the temple, but in our entire life, we should think this reality again and again. Then it comes to the common life. We usually practice Dhamma when we are at temple or when we are doing good activities. Other times we spend a common life. But it is not the way how we get the results. We should add mindfulness to our breath. We should add mindfulness and wisdom into our every step. Then we are living with the Dhamma, and also we are liberating from suffering, and also we are living happily. Whenever we live with mindfulness, it means we are happy since outside world is unable to bring us suffering. For that, Buddha has explained the path. The path is the Noble Eightfold Path. Samma Ditti, in first we should have Suttamaya Panya, Then we start our spiritual journey, right intention, Samma Sankappa, right speech, Samma Vaca, right action, Samma Kammanta, right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, right effort, Samma Vayama, right mindfulness, right Samma Sati, right concentration, Samma Samadhi. We do all activities with these 80 steps. We don't go at least 1 second from these 80 steps. Even we breathe in and out in this path. It means we are in practice. It means we are liberated from ignorance. The more we overcome ignorance, the more we overcome attachment and anger. The more we overcome these 3 developments, craving, anger, and delusion, the more we are happier. In this entire discourse, Vyaggapajja Sutta, the Supreme Buddha explained the way how we attain the real happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone, but unfortunately, our happiness will come in future. අදට වඩා හොඳ හිතක් ලැබේවා. That tomorrow never comes. That is like Balagiri dosa. Every moment we think that tomorrow is the better day. That tomorrow never comes until we die. But the very important thing, when we start to practice Dhamma, it means we have started to spend our happy life. Practicing Dhamma is the happy life. How do we practice Dhamma? Practicing generosity, practicing moral conduct, practicing saddha, and with understanding of the wisdom, practicing mindfulness. This is the way what we practice on the path of liberation, path of happiness. If we are on this path, we are sure that we never fall into hell. We have received the visa after we die for a blissful life. We should not be worried. We should not wish it, but if we practice this path continuously, it means we never fall into hell. We have a blissful life as soon as we receive this life. We live this life. That is the real protection, real insurance, real refuge, real assurance that we can receive throughout practicing the Dhamma. That insurance is better, more valuable than our health insurance, than our life insurance. Even though we have health insurance and life insurance, they can protect us falling into hell. If we have practiced this path, if we are always on this path, it means we are sure that we never fall into hell. That is why Vyaggapajja asked the Buddha, Bhante, explain some doctrines that helps us to succeed our next life, future lives. Buddha explained these 4 qualities. Saddha Sampada, the accomplishment of confidence, of faith. Sila Sampada, the accomplishment of morality. And Tyaga Sampada, the accomplishment of generosity. And Panya Sampada, the accomplishment of wisdom. After this sermon, Thero was so happy with this sermon, and he appreciated Buddha's sermon, and he decided to dedicate his entire life according to this Dhamma. This is the sermon, this is the discourse that we wish to explain today. If you have any question, you can ask. Okay, friends, in the Dhamma, in the discourse, Buddha explained how do we succeed this life. For that, we have to practice 4 conditions, 4 things. Uttana Sampada, working hard, earning money righteously, and protection or watchfulness, good friendship, and balanced livelihood in order to succeed this immediate life. And for next life, we should have Saddha Sampada, the accomplishment of faith or confidence in what the Buddha realized. Sila Sampada, the accomplishment of morality or discipline in our speech and behavior. Chala Sampada, the accomplishment of charity or generosity. Panya Sampada, the accomplishment of wisdom. The very important thing, when we practice these doctrines focusing on next life, we receive the result in this immediate life. That is the very important thing. Whether we have or not next life, we receive the all results, happiness in this immediate life. That is the very important thing. When we practice Saddha or confidence, our mind is pure and calm. Whenever we think about the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, our mind has no negative thoughts at the moment. Our mind is so pure and calm, it means we are so happy. Whenever we practice generosity, our heart is so pure and calm. Whenever we practice 5 precepts, our discipline in the highest level. Finally, we don't do any slight wrong conduct which is concerned by the wise. Nacha Buddha Samachari Kinchi Yena Vinyo Paripadeyo. Physically or verbally, we don't do any slight wrong conduct which is criticized by the wise. Mentally, we may have some negative thoughts, but verbally and physically, we have no mistakes. That is very important. If you have mistakes, we immediately correct them. We come to the good moral conduct. And finally, we practice Panya or wisdom. When we live in the Panya or wisdom, it means we are like who are in the top of the hill. If a person is on the top of hill, he can see the persons who are in the down level around the mountain. We are also like that. That is why Buddhism says, Panya paspada maruye asoko sogini panyam. If a person can come to the upper level with wisdom, he can overcome suffering, and also he can see the persons who are in the down level having suffering. As the result of practicing this path, we are like lotus flowers, which origin in the mud and come from the mud and water and blooms with good smell and beauty. In the society, living with the ordinary people who have developments in their minds, having a pure mind, we are like the lotus flowers in this ordinary society. You are so beautiful when you are in this ordinary society, because your mind is so pure and calm. Even though other people have negative thoughts, misbehaviors, if you maintain your purity of your mind, you can live without sorrow and lamentation because of the purification of your mind. That is the Padmopakara Jivite, the life like a lotus flower. The Buddha always appreciated the life like a lotus flower. For that, I wish you all the best by the power of the spiritual energy that you accrued throughout listening to Dhamma, and the Blessed One explained May your all righteous wishes meet with success. May you be well, happy and peaceful. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation. Dukkam pantaya nindukkam, bhayam pantaya ninbhayam, sokam pantaya nissokam, honto sabbe pipanino. Dukin pelena sat, dukin midetva, bien pelena sat, bienati vetva, somin tevena sat, somnas vetva, nitin me hama sat, suepat vetva. May the Kripal Game bless you.